interview talking to the wonderful, amazing, just incredibly talented director of Rattlesnake, the latest Dream Theater production. So I'm gonna tell us a little bit about Rattlesnake.
Rattlesnake is, this is a world premiere for this particular piece. It's written by one of our company members who is pursuing his PhD, and this is part of his PhD. So it has had quite a bit of rewrites and editing with many eyes on this to create this piece. It is about a gentleman. He's the father of a 13-year-old autistic boy, and he has violent outbursts. And the father has decided he can't take any more of his son and has decided to commit suicide. So it's not a light play at all. It's very, very dark. It does have its comedy moments. So for attention release there. But what we're trying to do with this piece is open up lines of communication and talking about suicide, talking about autism awareness, and also talking about child abuse. There's child abuse that's also brought up in this. So a lot of trigger points in this play, and we're hoping, again, just to open up those lines of communication and to provide resources in the community for people who may be having problems with their mental health, problems with and questions about how their child is progressing in their own mental health. There is a huge deficit for children psychiatrists and counseling in the United States. I think I've been told there's about 1,200 psychiatrists for the whole entire United States. So it's a very
a huge gap.
Yes, it really is. And so thankfully we have those kind of resources here in Joplin, and it is great. The play is inspired by real people and real events. It is by no means everybody's story. This is just one particular family's story. It is loosely based on real events from myself and my husband and my sons. And sometimes it defies words on how to describe it to somebody. That's what we have for Rattlesnake, yeah.
Excellent. So, having known you and your family for years, it's such a brilliant presentation of some really harrowing experiences that, I remember some of these moments that you all went through, and we were all just horrified on your behalf, and especially knowing that you are not the only people who have experienced these incidents, and to be able to present it to people who may not realize that people do get treated this way for circumstances beyond their control, and especially if there aren't resources, then you're just treading water, trying to stay above water, right?
Yeah.
And so, as participating in this show, it's been very emotionally moving and eye-opening as to what people are experiencing. Having said that, though, other people who have learned a little bit about the show have expressed concern because their experiences have been completely different.
Right.
And what do you want people to come away from the show seeing, knowing that a parent of a special needs child could have a completely different, more positive or more negative experience than what your circumstances have been? Is there something that you would like these people to come away feeling or thinking?
Well, again, like I said, it is just a fictionalized version of one family's events that happened to them. And the spectrum of autism affects each person differently. It affects boys differently than it affects girls. And I know people who have been diagnosed as an adult And so they have a whole other different way to look at the situation and how maybe they have been treated. The thing about the show is how much personal investment that my cast and crew have into this piece. We have 2 actors who are on the spectrum. We have another one that suspects that they have always had that problem, undiagnosed. We have 2 cast members also who have a sibling with autism. So we have a great personal investment with this show that maybe we'd never do for the typical Dream Theater production.
Right. Oh, I feel that, and it's that personal investment really speaks to how hard this cast has worked. I mean, people are. This show has really pushed us to our limits as far as what can we bring out to do these characters justice and these situations. And speaking of the situations depicted in this show, Ima mentioned earlier there are some potential trigger points. But again, to reiterate, these are fictionalized. We are not trying to generalize any, particular characters. We don't want to put a blanket label on anyone. These are just fictionalized versions of a reality that this family has experienced and others no doubt have too. But that's not to say it's for everyone.
It is for mature audiences only.
There are profanities.
Yes, definitely profanities. And again, the trigger points. We have the youngest person, cast member we have is 17.
Mm-hmm.
And then the actor that's playing the 13-year-old son is actually a 24-year-old woman.
Right.
So we have people who are embodying different genders, different ages. So we don't have actors playing necessarily their age in the script. So it's also a way to make actors reach beyond their normal skills and to really find a new level for themselves.
Absolutely, and that has been an absolute pleasure in doing this show. Speaking of the pleasures of this show, do you have a favorite moment, one that just is a nice, through all the
one that always makes me smile the most happens in the final scene of the play, and it's involving checking on a turkey.
Yes.
So I don't want to ruin that for you, but it's just one of those that you're just like, that's just really funny. And it's one of our few last little smiley moments in the show.
Before you have to grab the tissue. So
yes,
tissue warning, but it's so worth it. I've not met anyone that has experienced a live read-through or a rehearsal of the show and has not just come away just feeling like, whoa, what was that? So that's why you're going to find a cast that is truly invested on all emotional levels, and we are all so grateful to be a part of this. So thank you for casting us, Ima. Thank you for allowing us to present this show, and it's been a pleasure. Is there anything else you'd like to say to the audience, or?
This show has a soundtrack
Yes.
that had been established really early in the process of designing the show.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's been available for the cast and crew to listen to as inspiration for their characters. You will find that the music is a character in itself.
Right.
So that's something also that makes this a little special about that.
Agreed. Yeah, we're all intrigued by that Tom Waits song. You'll have to listen for that. But if you want to listen to that soundtrack, I believe it's available on Spotify.
Mm-hmm. Rattlesnake by Ima Curl.
Yes, and so you can find that playlist and enjoy that. But yeah, come out, see the show. It's $12 a ticket. You can find the link to tickets on the Dream Theater Troupe Joplin Facebook page. Go to our events. You'll find Rattlesnake there, and in the description is the link to purchase tickets. I believe we will also do cash walk-ins, although seating is limited because we've got a small studio. But show opens tomorrow night, so June 3rd through the 5th. And then again, June the
10th
10th through the 12th. So
Yes.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, this week and next week.
7:30 show starts. Doors open at 7 o'clock.
Exactly. All right, we will see you then. Thank you for listening to the end. It's been kind of a long interview, but I hope it's worth every second. It's been a pleasure. All right, so show must get going. See you guys later.